Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wayne Scott, and I will be your moderator for today's LinkedIn Live webinar series, Home to More at Freddie Mac. This series for 2023 will occur throughout the year, and the event will feature different employees from various division and job categories. Now, throughout the year, we will hit topics such as workplace and culture, growth opportunities, and the hard and soft skills that will help you succeed. Now, today our session will focus more on finance and internal audit careers. If you're attending this event live, please take a moment to check in through the QR code on your screen. Now, just a little about myself. I'm currently in talent acquisition. I have been with the company a little over 11 years now in a variety of different capacities, including operations support and now HR talent acquisition. And I can tell you, I enjoyed every last minute of it. But enough about me. Now, I would like to introduce you to our illustrious panel members. First, we have with us Nadia McGeough from our business transformation finance area. And second, from our internal audit space, we have Frederico Pereira. Welcome, panelists, and I'm sure we'll have an organic, robust discussion today. Now, on to some tidbit information. Our discussion today will be about 30 minutes long. The entire event is recorded and will be available on the same event page as soon as the live event concludes. We have some awesome members from talent acquisition monitoring and responding in the live chat today, so feel free to drop any question or comments there throughout this event. If we should run out of time, questions may be answered post event. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in for the sake of time. Let's start with you, Nadia, on this first question. What division do you work in? What is your role, and what drew you to it? I'm sorry, Nadia, I believe you're on mute right now. Can you unmute?
Oh, sorry, Wayne.
There we are.
All
No
right.
problem at all.
All right. So I work in the finance division and I'm called a business transformation manager, but that basically means that I'm an internal consultant to the finance division. I like to describe myself as a mechanic with a toolkit. And whenever a business owner within the finance division has a problem that they need solving or an opportunity that they want to pursue, then they call me and I go in and use the methods, techniques that I've learned in terms of process improvement. And basically, I help them solve their problem. So I moved to finance 2 years ago after working pro bono for a director in finance for a year. So what does that mean? Basically, I volunteered to help this director when she was looking for people with my skill sets throughout the company temporarily to help her stand up a process improvement training program. So I volunteered, worked for her for a year, and then lo and behold, after the end of the year, she tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I've got a posting available. Would you be interested in applying?" So I applied and fortunately got the job. So I've been in finance for 2.5 years now and absolutely loving it.
Wow, that's great information. When I started with Freddie Mac, the name alone stood out for me in the housing industry as a stable top employer. But what really captured me was the people, the culture, and of course, the mission. What about you, Frederico? What division do you work in? What is your role and what drew you to it?
Hi, Wayne. Hi, Nadia. I'm a senior director in the internal audit division at Freddie Mac. The last 4 years, I have been focused on audit projects of consumer credit. And the 15 years before that, I focused on audits of IT processes. So altogether has been some great 19 years. They have come and gone in a blink of an eye.
Yes.
And one thing that really has captivated me through this time is the ability to understand how Freddie Mac operates as a company. Being in internal audit, you really have the equivalent to a bird's eye view to the company. You have visibility into all the operations the company does, how the company makes money, and all different divisions. So having the ability to work across all of these divisions is a huge plus, and it definitely has kept me going, and it has been awesome.
That's great. Wonderful. Yeah, Freddie Mac is a great place to work, I tell you. Well, let's stay with you, Frederico, on this next question. How have you expanded your skills and grown professionally while working at Freddie Mac? And how have you been supported in that growth?
That's a great question, Wayne. So let me start out by dispelling a myth that exists out there. Being in internal audit, typically people associate with someone being more in the accounting field and dealing with numbers only. But as you heard me answer the previous question, we have to be able to audit every aspect of the Freddie Mac business. So that means we actually have a wide variety of skill sets in the division so that we are able to audit areas in Freddie Mac such as capital markets, IT, finance, accounting, credit risk management, models, and the list goes on. So to this end, if we focus on skills, we currently have individuals in the internal audit team that have cybersecurity skills, data science skills, artificial intelligence and machine learning skills, environmental sciences, business management, fair lending, and the list goes on. We are encouraged every day to expand on our skills through the different roles that we take, and going cross function within internal audit or within Freddie Mac is always very well regarded upon. Take my switch as an example. I spent 15 years doing IT audit, and my last 4 years I've been focused on more of a business area at Freddie Mac. So that was a significant change for me. Through this process, I was extremely supported by leadership to make sure that I had the environment I needed to learn, grow my skills, and make sure I was confident to start contributing. So, in my 19 years at Freddie Mac, uh, I would say that I've been able to expand skills on three fronts: leadership skills, technical skills, and soft skills. And these are extremely important for an internal auditor. Leadership skills, I've been supported through both Freddie Mac enterprise-wide trainings, as well as IA leadership trainings, but also external trainings when I felt that those were more conducive to what I needed to develop. Technical skills, this includes IT audit type of skills. It includes conferences, consumer credit type of skills, as well as certifications. And last but not least, the so very important soft skills that this cuts across a number of jobs, but communication, your written and verbal communications, project management, time management, and so on. So developing these skills, I feel, have been integral for me in the 19 years and the path that I have taken. Now, certainly with different roles, whether you are taking more of a managerial type of role or whether you are moving more to a business type of audit role, different skills are going to have more weight than others. But the key here is that you are continuing to build your skill set.
Absolutely.
Um, to continue evolving and remaining relevant, it's imperative that you continue to expand on your current skills and develop new skills. The company and internal audit recognizes that people are really our most important asset. And to that effect, there's a number of resources that are made available at the enterprise level as well as within internal audit to make sure that we continue evolving, progressing, growing, and developing.
Thank you, Frederico. That's very informative. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's, Nadia. How have you expanded your skills and grown professionally while working at Freddie Mac, and how have you been supported in that growth?
Thank you, Wayne. I've really concentrated throughout my career in acquiring mentors who can give me advice and challenge me and help me along my journey. And I've been fortunate to have some great mentors at Freddie Mac. One of my passions is to connect with colleagues throughout the company, and I connect at all levels, people who are lower in the hierarchy, people at my level, people higher than me. And the reason I do that is I like to get perspectives from across the board. And that's been very successful for me. Sometimes the youngest people who are just on board for the last couple years have given me the best advice. So I like to have that array of feedback. Networking obviously is essential. The best jobs that I've ever had have been a result of hiring managers tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, I've got a job opening. Would you like to apply?" And that's been a very rewarding feeling because that says my networking has paid off. Someone's recognizing my skills and ability to get things done, and they're proactively seeking me out. And that is the culmination to me of all the network and relationship building I've done. But really, the bottom line is you really have to take care of your reputation and enhance it. You have to have a reputation of being able to get excellent work done. That's really the bottom line. So I am really conscious of my reputation, and I work hard at keeping it reputable. So the finance division has done an excellent job of helping me grow professionally. And I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about specifically what finance has done to promote and enable their employees to grow professionally. I've been at Freddie Mac 30 years, and each of the divisions I've been in, of course, have had professional growth opportunities and programs. But I have to say, I've never been as impressed as with a division as finance. The leadership there is really committed to helping us develop our career. So we actually stood up a program called Finance Career Development Journey. And it's comprised of 3 categories: business acumen, technical acumen, and leadership. And there are 15 different type of sub-programs that help you enhance those 3 components. I'm going to talk to you about 3. So first of all, we have the Finance Career Development Program. That lasts for 11 months, and it helps you enhance your personal branding. It helps you build your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your elevator pitch about yourself. It enables you to enhance your public speaking skills, networking. They even do mock interviews, and you have officer level mentoring sessions. And there's so much more to this program. I can't promote it enough. So you'd be very fortunate to join us and tap into that program. Secondly, we have a finance rotation program. Basically, in a nutshell, that's job switching for 6 months. So 2 people are teamed up in different departments, and you switch jobs for 6 months, but you help train each other in the other person's job. So that's been a very successful program. And finally, but not least, we actually have a mentor program where if you raise your hand and you're looking for a mentor, we'll assign you a mentor that meets your needs, and vice versa. If you want to be a mentor, you have that option as well. So that's just a taste of what we do in finance to enable employees to enhance their career. And we're really quite proud of these programs.
Wow, that's great information. Nadia, 30 years. Wonderful. And I want to touch on something you just mentioned as well. I continue even to this day to search out mentors and be a mentor to someone in need. I think this helps you master your craft, and it gives the ability to set clear, defined goals. So that's great information, and it's really appreciative. But let's stay with you, Nadia, on this next question. Why did you choose Freddie Mac, and why have you chosen to stay?
Okay, I'm going to tell you why I chose Freddie Mac, and it's going to date me a bit, but I'm courageous enough to tell this story because you're going to figure out how old I am. But basically, what happened is I landed here haphazardly. I didn't consciously pick Freddie Mac. What happened is I was working for a local bank, and it was 1991, and my colleagues were all men at my same level. And I had this nagging feeling that they were being paid significantly more than me. And lo and behold, I came across inadvertently a salary survey that was done by an outside consultant. And there was my name in there as being woefully underpaid, and the suggestion that I should be paid in accordance with my male counterparts, what they were paid. So I waited and waited and nothing happened. So I approached the bank president and I said, I'm aware of this salary survey, and when am I going to get my comparable pay, which would have been a significant uptick? And the president said, "You're not going to." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "You're not married with a family, having to support a family. Your male counterparts are. So unfortunately, we're not going to pay you." So I decided I was going to go look for another job. And those were the days where we didn't have the internet. So you opened up the Washington Post classified section, and I started circling job openings. And lo and behold, Freddie Mac was there. And I thought, okay, I meet with the skill sets they're looking for. Let me give it a shot. And fortunately, I got the job. And I've been here 30 years. I had 2 years of break in service because I wanted to go out and see what other opportunities were outside. And then I came back. But what I really want to say is I got here haphazardly, but I've stayed because I'm passionate about our mission. The culture suits me. And despite being here 30 years, there's so much to learn and opportunities available. I'm never bored, and I'm the kind of person that doesn't do well when I'm bored. So
Mhm.
it's been a very, very fortunate experience for me.
That's great. That's great. I know for me, I go back to one of our core missions where we provide liquidity in the market, but I also thought about things like sustainability and making housing more affordable for more Americans. That was an attraction for me. And I think these items helped me along my 11-year tenure. But let's hear from you, Frederico. Again, why did you choose Freddie Mac and why have you chosen to stay?
Yeah, Wayne, and I'll have to piggyback on what you started there. When I chose Freddie Mac, I wanted to work for a company that really makes a difference. What better company than Freddie Mac, which makes home possible for millions of people across the US? Freddie Mac plays a key role in the housing market as well as the broader US economy, given how many dollars and given how much the mortgage business influences that. Another huge thing is when you look across the company, regardless whether you are in audit or in single family or in finance or in HR, everybody really rallies behind the mission because that is the common goal that everyone is working towards. In my prior job, I was with a consulting firm where I ended up doing audit engagements at different clients for 3 weeks to a month times. And I always had this nagging feeling that I was just scratching the surface in those projects. I really wanted to join a company that mattered, and I wanted to really learn about all aspects of the business and how the company operated. And this is where I found the great match with Freddie Mac. I've gotten so much more ever since I joined because, just like what Nadia was saying, I find it important to continue to be challenged and growing. And I feel like every day at Freddie Mac, even though I've done audits, the same audit multiple times, there's always a different perspective. There's always something new that you have to be learning, you have to be expanding your skills on. And that to me is where it really helps getting you engaged. We have an amazing campus at Freddie Mac. Lots of amenities on this campus. We have a gym, we have a mailroom, cafeteria, coffee shops, ATMs. It almost feels like a city on its own when you are on campus. There's a number of buildings in close proximity, so a lot of Freddie Macers walking back and forth between these amenities, things. So it has that vibe, hard to describe. You just got to see it for yourself.
Yeah, that's wonderful information. I tell you, in my journey with Freddie Mac, it is like being on a college campus. You have everything there that you need. So that's wonderful. I know we're running limited on time. So let me get into this next question. Let me start with you, Frederico, on this one. Making home possible requires us to lead, collaborate, deliver results, focus on stakeholders, and grow and develop. How do you see you and your team regularly deliver on these competencies?
Wayne, we live and breathe these competencies every day, all time. It's part of our DNA. They are how we go about doing our work. We have four strategic pillars in audit that intersect very well with the five competencies. First one is 1IA. What does this mean? It means that we operate as one integrated and collaborative team. The left hand knows what the right hand is doing, and we collaborate because that's what makes us produce a better product at the end. We want to be able to leverage the diverse knowledge and talent that we have across the division, as you heard me talk about the different backgrounds, academic backgrounds that individuals have in the division. The second pillar we have relates to recruiting, developing, and retaining leaders. So this really means enhancing the employee development to strengthen the trust, making sure that folks are being challenged and are applying strategic thinking and risk awareness. We also want to celebrate courage. Sometimes audit may be the only voice in the room, but we want to make sure that folks are empowered and are confident to put that voice out there. We are, as a third pillar, innovation. We are always looking for ways to do things better, more efficiently, with less impact to the business. So we want to enhance our value, our effectiveness, our productivity, and that should stimulate the creativity and collaboration across the company. And last but not least, relationships. We
Yes.
cannot do our work in a vacuum. So it's very important that we are independent and objective in how we go about conducting our work. And I'll touch on what I mean by this in just a second. But trust is very important. The mutual goals, having that common mission, is very important as well, as I was referring before. And that to the end of helping strengthen risk management, the internal controls, and the governance in the company. Independence and objectivity are paramount to us. And the reason being is we need it to be able to effectively perform our work and help the company. So when you look at our reporting structure, our general auditor, she reports directly to the audit committee of the board of directors to help maintain that independence and objectivity in the work that we do.
That's great. Wonderful, Frederico. Appreciate that. Hey, and Nadia, same question for you. Making home possible requires us to lead, collaborate, deliver results, focus on stakeholders, and grow and develop. How do you see you and your team regularly deliver on these competencies?
So it's very clear for us when we deliver because we negotiate with our internal customers, being internal consultants. We negotiate with those internal clients up front to say, okay, help us understand your business problem, or what do you want to do to innovate? And we take those concept, responses, and we establish up front what we want to accomplish by the end of the assignment. So it's clear for us where we want to go, and there's no question at the end of the assignment about the results, whether that we've delivered, whether we delivered or not, we know. And what we need to do is also embrace change and help our internal stakeholders embrace change. Now, I know embracing change is a common sort of uh, uh, mantra in the business world, but really what my team and I do is change. So if you want to think about it in terms of really a crisp bottom line elevator speech, we help our customers manage change. And so we have to help the customer understand the amount of change that we're going to help them effect. So let me give you an example of some of the projects that I've worked on over the last 30 years, many of which I've been proud of. One is the door knocking project. And during the height of the financial crisis, there are some borrowers who literally were not responding to emails, to letters. They were just basically so terrified of having their homes be foreclosed on that they just buried their head in the sand, hoping it would go away. And of course, it wasn't. So we came up with the idea that, okay, let's send teams of people knocking on doors and attempting to have that face-to-face contact to assure our borrowers that there were programs that we've developed to help prevent them going into foreclosure. And as a result of that program, we helped 45,000 borrowers modify their loans to enable them to stay in their home. So that's a deeply rewarding project to be a part of. And that's what I love about being at Freddie Mac is I can actually see my line of sight. I can see where I'm making an impact. Well, more recently, I've spent the last year helping our corporate sustainability office integrate their sustainability strategy into our business and operations. As a result of that project, I learned a lot about carbon footprint, Freddie Mac's carbon footprint, how it's calculated, how it impacts our environment. And I learned a tremendous amount of climate change and how it impacts vulnerable communities in this country. So that's another reason I love my job is I can connect what I do to helping people, and I get to work on so many different projects. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know what you mean. Hey, so, and I thank you for that. I know we're getting short on time here. Let's do this like a lightning round, right? What are your top tips for progressing in your field? Maybe just give us that top tip. And let's start with you, Frederico. What would be a top tip for you?
Very good. So I'll not cheat anybody out of some of these tips, but I'll just leave folks with some statements to keep in mind. Don't stop learning. Be proactive and take charge of your career. Seek opportunities to step outside of your comfort zone. Trust the process and have patience when things are not going your way. Be open and willing to do the assigned work and put your best self and product forward. I'll leave it at that.
That's great. How about you, Nadia?
My top tip would be exhibit the skills and traits that you need to go to the next level while you're in your current job. To me, that's one of the most successful ways to climb the ladder is show your management that you are capable while you're in your current job. And part of that is volunteering for challenging assignments. Stretch yourself, help your boss do his or her work. And that'll become self-evident that you're ready for the next roll up. Obviously, keeping abreast of industry trends and techniques in your particular job set. And then facilitation skills are invaluable. What I need those skills because I have to help my stakeholders answer the problem. I have to elicit out of them what potential solutions are there to solve their problem. And please be known for your honesty and integrity. Manage your reputation very closely and fervently. Be respectful of others. Okay, this is one that I think is very valuable. Challenge or disagree with your business partners, even your boss, in a tactful but honest way, but don't be the contrarian. This is a hard thing to do. You should have a voice at the table. You should be able to provide your opinion, recommendations, feeling very confidently that they will be heard. But you also have to do it in a tactful way. If, for example, there's a consensus and you feel that there's another perspective or view. And trust me, you'll earn some well-founded applause for doing that. In other words, bringing your authentic self to the table. And then I just want to close out by saying, you know, be kind and compassionate. It's not weak to be kind and compassionate. It's actually, those are very strong traits. And you will be, you will find that exhibiting kindness and compassion will come back to you in many, many ways. It's much
Absolutely.
easier to be the opposite of kind and compassionate. It's harder to be kind and compassionate.
I agree 100%, Nadia. And just to piggyback a little what Frederico was talking about your comfort zone. I know you don't want that next opportunity passing you by just because you would like to remain stagnant. One of my favorite sayings, even to my kids, growth is never a detriment. And also, don't let the next person steal your dreams. I think sometimes as humans, we just lose sight of that, right? So we say no to status quo. So as we're coming to a close, I just want to say thank you to our wonderful panelists, both Nadia and Frederico. You were rock stars today. They had healthy perspectives, and their insight will help elevate your career, possibly with Freddie Mac. I would also like to thank our audience members. Really, I do, for joining this call today. We will make sure we link mentioned resources in the comments. I enjoy your attention to the QR code to check in for this event. The link to check in will also be included in the resources we are popping into the chat if you prefer to use that method. You can always rewatch and share the event on LinkedIn. The recording will be live at the same link shortly after the broadcast ends. And please look out for upcoming opportunities in March, actually, this year, to visit our McLean, Virginia headquarters campus and meet colleagues from various business areas, take a tour, and view work life at Freddie Mac in person. For more information, please visit our career site events page, which is included in the resources we'll put in the chat. Again, thank you all for your time today and joining this live event. And we definitely look forward to the next time. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.